Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Hockey Think Tank podcast, brought to you by Hockey Think Tank U. Place for all passionate players, parents, and coaches to go to get a little bit of education and a little bit of inspiration regarding the greatest game on the planet. What an episode we have for you guys here today. We are bringing on Matt Ford, unbelievable hockey guy, unbelievable hockey journey. Vex, please stop. He grew up in Los Angeles, California, played his youth hockey once he got a little bit older at Shattuck St. Mary's before going on to the USHL and the University of Wisconsin, where he won a national championship. An 11-year professional career, including 7 of those years as a captain at the AHL level, won a Calder Cup, which is the AHL championship with the Grand Rapids Griffins, Detroit's AHL team. Now he's in the Chicagoland area doing Ford Hockey School. Unbelievable hockey guy, developing kids in our area here. Man, this was an awesome conversation. But before we do get over to Matt, let's bring on another awesome guy in a one, Jeffrey J. Hulavecchio. Vex, what's going on today, my man?
Not much. And in case you guys were wondering why Toph was laughing in the intro, I was booby dancing. If you guys ever watch these episodes on YouTube, which they are on, I try to make Toph laugh almost every single time he does that intro. So if I get one out of him, I'm pretty happy. But that being said, I'm doing good, bro. I'm really excited. I'm about to drop something pretty cool.
What are you dropping?
Got a meeting this week to build out the back end and build out the website, the landing page, and all that stuff. You and I have talked about advisors and advising. And honestly, since we've been doing this podcast the last 6+ years now, or whatever it is, coming up 6, 7, whatever the hell it is, one of the things that I get questions about the most from parents is, should I get an advisor? Do I need an advisor? How much should I spend on an advisor? Is this person taking advantage of me? Yada, yada, yada. I hate that whole game. Now, there are good advisors out there, no doubt, but there's a lot of scums and a lot of people who don't advise. For me, if you're paying an advisor, they should advise you and help you be better at hockey. They are not an agent. You are a child. If you're paying them large sums of money or any money, they should be advising and helping you in your career. You should have contact with them. It shouldn't be, I only hear from him once a season. That's not an advisor, and that's not worth $3,000 or $1,000. It's not worth anything, honestly. And tons of these guys just make a call and get a kickback for your tryout fee from their buddies that they're calling to get you at a tryout too. Not all, obviously not all, but that is definitely happening. So I've wanted to find a way to help more players on an individual level for a long time, and I think this is the best way to do it. And I'm going to call it some form of an advising service because it's actual advice. It's actual advising. So what I'm going to do is I had one of my retired pro hockey players who's one of the best guys I ever trained, best human beings, maximized his potential, was an NHL quality talent, had a great pro career. His name's Michael Hunterbrinker, absolute student of the game, a great role model. Worked with me during his pro career in the summers to help young St. Louis high school teams that I worked with. And he's been studying under John Lounsbury from 11 Hockey. Lounsey's been kind of mentoring him. Lounsey can't thank you enough. Unbelievable. Obviously, he has a massive name in the NHL and all the clients that he works with doing this type of video service in the NHL. But what we're going to do is players are going to get a call a month with me or 2 calls a month. We're still kind of deciding on the structure, where we'll go over, the mental side of the game, confidence, their daily habits, their nutrition, things like that. If they have questions, they can reach out to me anytime. They will also get an individualized training program based off of their in-season schedule. So it's not like, oh, here's just a 4-month program. It's like I'm writing their training based off of when they practice, what gym they're working out at, it's what they need to be working on, things like that. So very individualized type of thing. And then Michael Hunnebrinker will be doing a 4-game breakdown analysis of a shift-by-shift breakdown. He'll be sending them things that they need to work on in practice based off of what he's seeing in their video, and a whole bunch of other really, really cool things. So we're just finalizing what all the details and the deliverables look like and the cost and things like that. This will be a very, very high-end service for much cheaper than it should be. Much, much cheaper, with the goal of helping as many hockey players as we can and actually advising players to get better. So we're really excited to roll this out, Hunts and I, and my company, GMT.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeff Lavecchio, an advisor.
I mean, we're just calling it advising. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not
an advisor.
Yeah, I'm not. And the reason I'm not calling them mentorship is because I think I hope it makes all these advisors level up. I hope it makes them do this type of thing and provide value for the money that they're all charging. So, that's one of the reasons of doing it. One of the reasons, just help players, something that would have helped me immensely in my career. So just we're really excited to get that going.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Hunts is a great dude too. Like, just an unbelievable guy. So
yeah,
that's really cool, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
You did.
Thank you.
And just so you know, listeners, I had no idea he was doing this.
Yeah. Just talking to Hunts the last few months, I was like, dude, talking how much I hate some of these slime ball advisors when they're all approaching some of my younger players and talking to them. I'm like, I'll call teams for you. Like, what do you mean? You don't need to pay them that much money. I'll literally make a phone call and I'll tell them exactly what I think about you. So whatever you show me, I'll tell them about you. Like, if you show up late and you're bad and, all these things, like, that's what I'm going to tell them, just so you know. You don't got to pay me anything extra. So, like, this is a different service, and just really excited to help more players on an in-depth level, both from an on ice and an off ice, and a mental and kind of the holistic approach of the whole athlete here.
Okay. All right. Here we go. You know who else is really good at developing players? Matt Ford.
FHS.
Yeah, dude, this is one of those conversations we get off and we were like, that was unreal. That was an unreal conversation. Like, his journey, man, there's just so many things that every kid that's going to listen to this can pick up on to make you better. So many different things, from a hockey perspective, from a mental toughness perspective, from a stick-to-itiveness perspective. Here's a guy that, was not anointed at a young age and had to work and had to figure it out, and then got, put down a peg or two, and then had to work, and then had to figure it out, and then got put down a peg or two, and then had to work, and then figure it out. And he goes on to have an 11-year professional career, 7 as a captain at the AHL level, wins a Calder Cup, wins a national championship at the NCAA level, man. Like, and now he's given back. Like, he's done such a good job here in the Chicago area with the kids that he coaches. He's got a great reputation. Just a really, really good guy. So, like, this was a very cool conversation. Very, very cool.
Yeah. You guys are, I don't care if you're the best player on your team or you're the worst player on your team, because this guy was both of those on multiple teams that you will hear throughout his career. He did not have an easy path. And there were years where he absolutely murdered it. And then, like Toph said, he'd get taken down a peg. And I say this on the podcast, and I was doing it while we were on the podcast, and I hope you guys too have his elite prospects out while you're listening to him talk, because you'll see exactly what we're talking about, and the highs and lows, and the learning to invest time and effort and energy into yourself, and what that can do for you, and where he was, and being a healthy scratch in the national championship game, and to being the captain of an AHL squad. Guys, that is a serious accolade in the game of hockey, being a captain in the American Hockey League, and winning the championship. So really, really, really good episode. I think this is one that's going to be shared around quite a bit, and really thankful that he came on and was so candid about his career and the hard times, and how the hard times led to good times, and the cycle of that in his hockey career.
100%, man. 100%. And one of the things that we love doing too is the 10 questions after that are housed in Hockey Think Tank U. And he killed it on that as well. And just like, yeah, man, just a wealth of knowledge, really good hockey guy, coaching, at the youth level now. And there's just so much to take from this one. So, yeah, that's all. It's just really, really cool conversation. Before we do get over to Matt, though, we do have some people that we got to thank, particularly our title sponsor, icehockeysystems.com, best website out there for all your coaching education needs. They are coming out very, very soon with family accounts. So they were just for coaches at the beginning, and now they have a bunch of different things, not just for the coaches, but for hockey parents and hockey players too. We have partnered with them for that, and we are so excited to see that roll out here very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Also, we have partnered with them to do an associations platform so you can get ice hockey systems for all the coaches in your organization to build up a drill library, practice plan library for everybody that's in your club. So go to icehockeysystems.com. Check that out today. Jeffrey?
Want to say a massive thank you to Train Heroic. You guys know Train Heroic is the awesome platform that has allowed me to work with so many individuals, teams, and organizations around the world since Voldemort 19. You know what I'm talking about. So massive thank you to them. More and more teams every year reach out for workouts, whether they're for younger players to do some extra work at home, or they're for players in the gym at the rink, or for players who just are going to sign up with their team and they can do them at any gym of their choosing at any time of week that makes sense for them to get in their lifting if they have a busy schedule. Train Heroic makes this all possible. So a massive thank you to you guys at Train Heroic.
Boom. Also want to thank Helios Hockey, one of the best hockey products out there. Helios is a sensor that you put in your shoulder pad that gives you real-time feedback on your play, particularly your stride length, stride mechanics. They have some great development tools for that, but also what the kids love in a hustle score. So every time you move, that sensor goes and gives you a little bit of a hustle score, and the kids absolutely love that. Also, the game changer with it is it pairs up with your video. So whatever video you're using, whether it's Live Barn or an iPad, an iPhone, regular camera, it syncs up with that, and you get your shifts or your reps cut up for you directly when you're done with your session or your game. Absolute game changer. No more fast forwarding and rewinding and taking a million hours to do to get your shifts and reps cut up for you. It's done for you directly when you're done. So go to helioshockey.com today, and if you use the coupon code Think Tank, one word, you get a 20% discount on your Pro Annual or Pro 24-month subscription, or you can go to helioshockey.com/teams and get a discount for your entire team. Also want to thank Crossbar. Crossbar is an unbelievable software solution to help you streamline and run your youth organization efficiently. What does it have? Unbelievably easy to use website design, easy to use registration for everything from your season for a youth organization to even if you're a rink, drop-ins, clinics, and lessons. It's got an unbelievable club schedule, 5-star communication app to communicate with your families, financial, volunteer, facility management, tools, and reporting. Man, this is just a one-stop shop to help you run your youth organization. I know a lot of different hockey directors that have made the jump over to Crossbar in the recent past, and they all have been just, the feedback has been amazing. So go to crossbar.org today and check it out. Also, thank you to all of our amazing listeners. We love you guys so much. The one thing that we ask in return for our podcast, if you choose to do so, is to just interact with our podcast on your podcast app by shooting us a like, shooting us a review, shooting us a rating, following us, subscribing, all that kind of stuff goes a long way in the algorithm to getting us into more ears. And if you think we're doing a solid and a positive to the hockey world, if you can help us and do that, that would be phenomenal. So with that, you guys are going to love this conversation. So without further ado, here we go. Ford Hockey School, Matt Ford. We are so excited to have on this episode of the podcast. He's in my city. We're just a couple towns over, but he hails from California, beautiful Cali. Matt Ford. Fordo, how you doing today, man?
Thanks for having me on, Toph. I'm doing well.
Hey, Vex, just so you know, before you got on here, just small world. So first of all, he is at Johnny's Ice House right now, down in the city. And that is the arena that a one-team Easton won the Men's League Championship for the Johnny's Elite League. And
not a big deal.
And so it's just kind of funny. The guy who runs the league is a guy that, there's the picture.
Pull it off the wall for you.
Are you guys both on that team together?
No.
They don't even let me play.
He's too good for the league, man.
No. The wires snap once in a while.
That's why I don't play men's league right there.
Hey, if they let Denny play, they can let you play. That's for sure. No, but it's just kind of funny. It's just a small world. The guy who runs the league is a guy that I played Might hockey with, who Fordo is coaching for that organization now. Just hilarious. Small world.
It is such a small world.
Anyway, but so just love to introduce you to our listeners here. Grew up in California. How'd you fall in love with the great game out that way?
My grandfather moved 4 boys out in the 60s and from Toronto and helped start one of the youth hockey programs.
No way. Okay.
I grew up watching my dad play the lowest level of professional hockey, Pacific Coast Hockey League back in the day, which was very much like Slapshot. To me, as a 5-6-year-old, it was like watching the NHL. I wanted to grow up just to be like my dad. So ever since I remember, I've been on the ice skating, playing, and grew up with him coaching me. And yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So I have to ask you this. You go to Shattuck. How many years did you go to Shattuck?
I was there for all 4.
You were there for all 4 years.
Yeah,
were you on the team where we had like a big, I don't want to say rivalry, but battle? I was on CYA. It would have been your first year, Bantam year maybe, or maybe your second year. I don't know. But it was hilarious. So our team won the national championship that year, but we had played against each other, if you were on that team, a couple times, and they were like just phenomenal games. And we ended up winning the national championship, but then everybody was like, well, Shattuck wasn't there. Because at that time, Shattuck, they didn't allow academies into the national tournaments.
Yeah, that was 99, 2000. We lost to you in Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so that was the same. Wow.
Break. That was our only loss of the year that year. I remember it well. Dude,
so I'm telling you, Vex, like I remember playing in that game. Like imagine remember playing in a regular season Bantam game, and you were probably undefeated at the time. We were probably undefeated at the time, or 1 loss or something like that. And it honestly, like I remember being done with that game and thinking I might have just played in like the greatest Bantam hockey game ever. It was it was such good hockey. Who did you guys have on your team that year?
Aaron Bader at that age was unbelievable. To be at Shattuck, the next year he was on the prep team. Like outside of him, there's only a handful of guys that weren't first rounders, like names you all remember. He went straight to the prep team. He was unbelievable that year. We had a goalie, Mike Mayhew, was one of the goalies at Michigan. We had a pretty solid squad.
Yeah, I'll never forget. And JP Parisi coached that team too, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, that dude, facts. That was like the greatest Bantam game ever.
I love that you guys like know the year. You guys remember it. It's Bantam. It's so awesome, man. That's so great.
You are one pathetic loser. Anyway, but like obviously Shattuck, is an institution that everybody knows about, right? And they have such a long and storied history. I know so many guys that went through that program and so many women that came through that program too that absolutely loved it. Can you talk a little bit about what makes Shattuck so special?
Well, it's funny. I went there in 99 and no one had really come out of there. It's not the Shattuck that we know today. I think like Ty Conklin, Ryan Malone had come out of there 5-6 years before. I was looking at schools, Cranbrook back in Michigan, some of the schools back east. I just wanted to be on the ice every day. I remember going on a visit there, and back then they used to let you bring your hockey bag and you jump on the ice. They put me on a line that day for practice, and Zach Parisi, I think Tyler Hirsch was sick that day. So I got to jump on a line for practice, and I was like, these are the best kids I've ever played with. Just that one day, I remember them being a little bit crazy about hockey, and I was like, I got to go here. They didn't have the same, it wasn't like I got recruited to go there. I just went in there, tried out, was fortunate enough to make the top team as a bantam for the bantam team my freshman year. But it wasn't easy. A lot of those kids that put that place on the map were there while I was there. Zach Parisi was there. Drew Stafford was there. By my senior year, you have Sidney Crosby, Jack Johnson. I didn't make the next couple of years. It was a grind. I didn't make the top team at Shattuck until my senior year. But
really,
yeah, that was but some unbelievable players to play with.
what was that like, dude? It's so funny. Like, we have so many players that played at high levels in the NHL on here that like didn't make a team at 15 or 16 years old, and it kind of like defined their career a little bit. And a lot of times it came with, I had to sack up, and I had to get better and looking in the mirror a little bit. What was that experience like kind of seeing some of your teammates make the prep team? You didn't make it till your senior year. Was that a big part of your journey there?
It was really tough. Well, my parents gave me this opportunity. They refinanced their house so I could go to Shattuck to give me that opportunity.
Wow.
Put me in a situation that I could be on the ice, live my dream, and to not make the team my sophomore year, not make the team my junior year, watch all the guys that I played with was really tough. I had to continually find my way back on the path. By senior year, it was the journey for me, though. Those sophomore and junior years, the second team or the third team, like I was always in a situation, playing in every situation on power play, penalty kill, important minutes. And by senior year, I had jumped back being on that top team, and they put me on the top line.
Amazing. Isn't that crazy? I mean, like, we talk about that a lot, and you look at like kids today, like not making teams and then feeling like they have to jump, just to stay at the level or whatever it may be. But like the amount of people that we talk to, it's like, yeah, getting cut, but then being the guy, on the team underneath. There's so much value to that. There's so much value to that. Can you just speak to why you think that helped you in your development at that time?
Part of it was being able to, it takes a lot to stay focused, right? Where maybe the frustrations stay on task. I always looked at my old man, who I probably called after every game in high school. That never changed through juniors, college, all the way probably till I retired when I was almost 36. He was like my therapist. I'd call him. It wasn't about making excuses, blaming other people. It was evaluating where I was at, what I wanted to do, what my goals were, and kind of keeping me on the straight and narrow about that.
That's unreal.
When you say, like, you said I had to find my way back, can you explain to people what that means? Because we all know what that means. And, some people think that the path to success in hockey or life, sports, business is linear, and it's not. Helping young players realize that there's going to be bumps in the road and that every one of them is a learning experience and will help you down the road is something that we try and do with this podcast. When you say you had to find your way back, what did that mean?
I would say sophomore and junior year. In some ways, like, I didn't always have that same dedication.
Is that because of
not
hard?
Not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be on that top team. A lot of those guys that I played with from freshman year, a lot of the guys I played with from sophomore year, by junior year, they were all on that top team. And that was really frustrating. It was like the hard work you put in and you didn't see the result right away. You didn't see instant gratification. And so maybe in moments I wasn't as focused. I wasn't like as goal oriented, and I'd be like screwing off. But at some point, it was about getting back to putting in that hard work. It was getting back to knowing what my goals were, not losing it. It's not too late. Everybody develops at a different time. I had my own journey. My journey was when I look at what I always dreamed of doing was playing Division I college hockey. And probably the toughest part was being junior year, being like, that didn't seem, while it stayed a dream, it didn't seem realistic. I wrote every D3 school and didn't get a lot of replies.
Your junior year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then 2 years later in the USHL, you had 68 points.
Yeah.
Please,
Rookie of the year.
players, listen to that.
Well, also
Junior
Vex.
year.
Yeah. Also Vex though too. Like I want the parents who are listening to this, like you talked to your dad and it wasn't about making excuses. He talked about how he wouldn't let you do that. And I've had conversations with my parents same way. I've been kicked in the teeth a few times and it was never like, oh, poor baby, let's go find another team for you to play on. Life's not freaking fair. It was all right. Maybe you need to get better. Like sack up a little bit here. And like, honestly, I had parents that enabled me when I was feeling down in the dumps or feeling sorry for myself, I wouldn't have made it. I would not have had the success that I've had in this game. No chance in hell, because it's really easy as a kid when people make excuses for you to kind of let off the gas pedal and just think life isn't fair and give up and quit. But when it was funny. I was just talking to a prep school team this past couple days in Boston, and one of the messages was like, life is so much more in your control than you think. It's so much more in control than you think. And it's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you choose to respond and react to the things that happen to you. And like kids, like this is a great testimony, and listen to so many of the other high level hockey players that we've had on our podcast, pro hockey players, D1 hockey players. A lot of them have had to go through some stuff like this. And it's probably a big part of the reason why they succeeded. So not only is this such a great story from the fact that like, you had to learn some lessons and it made you who you are and it made you a great player, but like also your dad, your therapist, I think is what you called him. Exactly. He was a big part of that, I'm sure. What were those conversations like with your dad as you were going through some of that tough stuff, not getting that instant gratification in the results right away?
And you can kind of point to different times in your career. I had always been a guy who put up points when you're, I'm sure everybody who got to play college hockey, even going to Shattuck, I'd always been the guy to put up points, and not getting that gratification through putting up points, getting a goal, getting an assist, being on the score sheet. I had to learn other ways to find value. Did I put in the work? Was I getting opportunities? Like even now when I coaching myself, like, it's not about scoring goals. It's, if you're somebody who puts in things on the offensive side or is expected to contribute on the offensive side of the game, are you getting opportunities? Are you at least doing what you can? You talked about controllables. It all comes down to that. Like, yeah, you can't control if the puck goes in the net, but you can create opportunities. And that's at the end of the day. If you do that, you can rest your head on the pillow and probably get a better night's sleep.
And what a valuable lesson to learn at the age you did, because if you look at your career and your elite prospects, there were years where you scored a lot of points and there were years where you didn't score as many points. And so I'm sure that the reason that you were able to keep going up levels and keep getting contracts and play in the American Hockey League as long as you did is because you weren't getting points. You were still finding ways to bring value to the team, obviously, as a leader and a captain most of your career in the American League. I would have to say that those quote unquote tough times when you were younger and things like that allowed you to learn how to get over the adversity of, oh, I didn't get a point in the last 3 games. Well, I'm not going to pout. I'm still showing up and making things happen so that I'm a value add to this team, which is why teams kept signing you. And so like parents, I would urge you while you're listening to this podcast to go to Elite Prospects and look up Matt's numbers here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. His college numbers, no offense, they're not anything where it's like, oh my God, this guy is going to play almost 500 American Hockey League games and get drafted in the NHL. But obviously what he was doing was working, and he kept getting signed. And then all of a sudden he's in the AHL and he's scoring 30 goals in the AHL. Like, you guys know how many goals that is in the AHL? That is a lot. That is a buttload of goals.
Yeah, it's 30. You just
There's
said
going to be teams who don't even have a player who scores 30 on their team, and so this is like looking at your numbers is really really cool, I think, for parents and players to see that like development is what matters, and if you focus on that, you're going in the right direction.
When I was at Wisconsin, and you talk about my numbers at Wisconsin, like I want to say most of my years, my 12 years playing in the American Hockey League, most years I probably had more points than I did all 4 years at Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I couldn't figure out the game. It was a fast game, but and we had an unbelievable team, right? Like we win in 06, find myself down near the bottom of the depth chart, in and out of the lineup. If it was today, I would have went to another school. It's just the honest truth. I would have probably left Wisconsin after my first or second year. That wasn't really an option back then. I was probably not in a situation where I was going to leave, go sit out a year, try to get an opportunity somewhere else. But if I didn't go through those hard years at Wisconsin where, I was playing on fourth line, was not expected to be the one producing numbers. I was expected to be the one making simple plays, making sure you're taking care of things in your own zone, blocking shots, getting the puck to the next zone, having a hard forecheck, oftentimes on limited minutes. If I didn't go through that, I don't think, and while like I always thought, oh man, it would have been nice to play somewhere else, I don't think I would have had the career I would have had, because by the time I got to pro, I could be in the lineup in on the fourth line and find a way to contribute, or I could find a way to contribute on the first line given the opportunity.
Unbelievable, man. Very similar for me. I was a goal scorer growing up. I'd go up a level, be the best, or I'd be the best at a level. I'd go up, I'd be the worst. I'd have to work, find a way, be one of the best, go up a level, be the worst. And in juniors, it was the opposite for me. I remember playing against you in juniors, and you were a light show, and I was on Omaha, and like I was a grinder, like fourth line my first year, barely played, coach hated me, then I was like power forward. But like the reason that I signed in the NHL is because of what I went through in juniors. There's no doubt in my mind that the hard times made me the type of player that NHL teams found attractive enough to sign, and it's one of the biggest things we talk about on this podcast is like lean into the adversity when you're younger. Don't let your kids shy away from it. Don't try to take away the adversity from them. Shepherd them through that adversity.
Yeah. Don't, it doesn't change. I remember I got cut as a squirt, and now I'm coaching squirt hockey. And I remember back then I'm going to repeat the exact same story I talked about at Shattuck or not limited time at Wisconsin. I got cut as a squirt. I saw all my buddies that I played with mites with make the squirt A team in California. I was on a squirt B team. And wasn't the end of the road. We didn't make excuses. It was very tough to blame the coach when the coach was your dad. But those are the things. Like in that situation, it was the same thing as the Shattuck. I got to be the guy who probably had the puck more. I got to play and be able to be more dependable. I think when you look at younger kids, especially, everybody wants their kid to be on the top team all the way, right away. I've done the exact opposite. Probably took a page from my dad's book. My oldest boy, this will be his fourth year. His first 2 year mites, I cut him from the team the program wanted to put him on. And that wasn't easy for him, but for him, that was the best thing for him. He needed to be the guy. He needed to be the guy that learned how to do things the right way. And it wasn't by putting him on the top mite team as a 7-year-old.
Oh man, sweet music to my ears. Sweet music to my ears.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under-eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/secure. Protect yourself now at aura.com/secure.
Well, I mean, if you want to, if you want to get into that really quick, obviously we're here in Chicago, and you have a son who by all measures should be, in the machine of Chicago hockey, playing for one of the 6 AAA organizations that is offered here at the Mite and the Squirt level, but you're choosing to keep your kid playing with the Falcons, which is a tier 2 club here in the area. It's funny, we bat and I joke about the Mite AAA stuff and Squirt AAA stuff here all the time, kind of tongue in cheek. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But it's funny because I just saw my first Mite AAA practice the other day. I just happened to be at a rink and there was a Mite AAA practice going on. And I just about went to every single one of those parents and was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So can you, again, we live in a world where everybody wants their kid to be on the fast track in diapers. And it seems to be getting younger and younger every year. And like you said, you're kind of doing the opposite. You did it the opposite, even at the tier 2 level, keeping your kid down. You're not going the route of having your kid in AAA as a Squirt, even though he's, by everything that I've heard, one of the top kids. So what is your thought process on that? Just help me educate, some families here around the US and in Canada who are getting these messages from so many different people. Hey, if you don't do this by this age, your kid's going to not, they're not going to be, an elite player down the road. What's your thought process?
I played, and this is going back to my story for a split second. I played my first year Bantams on a AA team. I'd played AA all the way till I went to Shattuck. I think everybody has a different journey. When I look at what a 9-year-old, my oldest is 9, or a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, when we look at what's best for them and their development, it's probably coaching first.
Oh yeah.
And if you can't get at a AA program, maybe AAA is. But I think there's a lot of good coaching. Find coaching first. Coaching's got to be the most important. Second thing is opportunity. If your kid is, and it's happening at mite hockey, it's happening at squirt hockey, at probably both AA and AAA, probably not everybody's getting the even amount of ice times. And it sounds crazy to say, but that's just the truth of the matter. If your kid's not touching the puck and not playing in every opportunity, especially at this age, what are we doing? What are we doing? I have to practice what I preach as well. I'm a big believer, and I've listened to your guys' show for years, at different episodes, picking and choosing when I can get an opportunity to. Playing other sports is so important. I'm doing it with my own son. I see the transfer. He plays soccer and fall off in the last year. He played basketball. He's an awful basketball player. He played lacrosse in the spring. And it's not necessarily, a lot of parents will sit there and be like, it's the hand-eye with, the coordination, being able to stick handle and the body contact in lacrosse, or the footwork in soccer. But really it's the kids who often, let's say they're a good hockey player, you put them out there with soccer, playing soccer, it could be their first time. Somehow, if they get the puck all the time in hockey, they're often the one that find the ball in soccer. He's a bad basketball player. He looks like Rain Man. But maybe not Rain Man, but what movie is that? Along Came Polly.
Oh, yeah.
Raindrops.
Let it rain. And he's throwing up threes, just like on the fast.
This alligator wrestling.
But it's great for him. It's great for him not to be the star in basketball. It's great for him, but somehow, just in basketball, just like hockey, the ball finds him. Probably wouldn't have those same opportunities in AAA.
I think what you just said is something really important for a lot of parents to hear. Like, he's not the guy on the basketball team. If he's the guy on the hockey team and he's not the guy in the basketball or the lacrosse or the Quidditch, or I don't care what you're playing. You guys know what that is. It's a Harry Potter reference. I don't care what it is. If you're not the guy outside of the hockey, it's going to help him in hockey later in life when he moves up a level and he's not the guy at the start of the year. He's not going to be like crushed because, in basketball, I was the worst player on the team and I had to work my way up the depth chart. So it's like there's so many reasons outside of just you're working on coordination and blah, 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 and all these things are going to translate to the ice. Like, those little things might be just as important, if not more important, for his future in hockey and life, business, all those things.
100% agree.
Yeah, and you mentioned like you might not be able to get that at AAA. I don't want to even say the time commitment, because it's certainly a commitment to play AA too. But it's almost like the mentality of all or nothing. I feel like that's kind of like once you kind of make that jump for a lot of people, especially people who kind of maybe are first generation hockey parents who didn't play, they're just kind of getting into it because their kid likes it. There's this all or nothing mentality that like we have to dedicate, everything in our entire lives and our families' lives to this journey to get my kid to college hockey or whatever. I feel like that's where the disconnect is. And you meet like, here we go. Like you have a kid who's you love the fact that he's playing multiple sports and he has the time to be able to do that. And like, it's just such a great message for people to hear, especially here in Chicago where the rat race starts so early, and it's like, no, we don't, it doesn't have to be this way. You can still accomplish dreams without having to push all your chips in to this one thing at 7 years old. It's wild. It's crazy.
Having working with a ton of kids, I work with every age group, doing skill development, know a ton of guys. I still love putting my gear on and playing. My biggest hope for my kids is that they want to play hockey as adults. My dad's 70 years old. He still loves playing goalie as much as he can. And if I get the opportunity, I still want to score on him as much as I can. Put the pads on. But I don't remember, of all those conversations I've had with guys who played pro, ex-teammates, I've never, or guys who didn't, that I sit and have a beer with here at Johnny's East, never heard anybody say that at 9 years, I didn't make it because at 9 years old I was playing AA hockey. I haven't heard that one yet.
Good point.
I played Squirt A2, I think.
Squirt B.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I don't think teams were traveling quite as much as they were back in our day, but well, okay. So changing gears here now, back to your journey. And this is dude, this is going to absolutely kill me. It's going to absolutely kill me. But 06, the Wisconsin Badgers win the national championship, and they had to go through a one Cornell Big Red to do it in the NCAA tournament, triple overtime in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That was, and I go back to it. We talked about the Shattuck CYA game back in the day in Bantams. You talk about one of the greatest college hockey games ever. That's probably up there. 1-0 triple overtime, game. And I remember sitting in the locker room. Obviously you guys beat us, but sitting in the locker room after the game. And even though we lost and we're all bawling our eyes out, it was like I've never been so proud to wear this jersey kind of moment. The sacrifice and the game kind of epitomized who our team was. Just Wisconsin Cornell are two pro-built, big, physical, tough, play the right way teams. And even though it was a 1-0 game, without Dave McKee and Brian Elliott in net, that's not a 1-0 game.
No.
Like it was a phenomenal game. So I'm wondering from you, like, what do you remember from that game? And then after kind of going on a run, because you guys were the University of Wisconsin, you go to your regional in Green Bay, and then you win it in Milwaukee, which had to have been pretty cool too. But what do you remember about that game and just that run winning the national championship for the Badgers there?
We had a really special group. Not to dig even deeper, but like we're chatting right now because coming up is our 20-year anniversary of being part of that special team. Part of my journey was I was a healthy scratch that whole stretch there. So
really?
I watched the game. I was in the stands. I had a front row seat.
Wow.
But it was one of the best college hockey games I've ever seen. All those things are right. How heavy both teams played. I was a part of that group. I'm proud to be part of that group, but that was part of kind of my journey. I sat in the stands. I think I played our WCHA playoff games. One of the guys might have been injured, but the second half of that year we won as a sophomore. I was in the stands watching. I was healthy. And I knew, and we had a special group. A lot of guys went on and played. Adam Bursch was our captain that year, and I felt part of that group. It wasn't like, and it happens at pro hockey, probably happens at college hockey in different levels. When you're out of the lineup, you don't care. It was like I knew practices were my games, and that's how I was going to contribute to this group. I was going to battle every day when I was out there. If they needed me, I was going to be ready. But at the same time, I had a suit, long hair, and a beanie on, sitting in the stands, watching that game.
No kidding. Wow. Yeah, that's that game, man. That was it's funny. It must have been, I don't know, a 15-year anniversary or something like that. Actually, it probably was because it was during COVID. I remember they replayed the game on, I think it was on Facebook or something. And I took a bottle of vodka went by myself on the couch and was going to drown my sorrows away. And I don't even drink vodka, which is kind of weird. But anyway, so I just remember watching that game and again, all the emotions come back, just like you're back in that moment and stuff. And you know what though? It's really interesting to hear you talk about your experience because I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of championship teams at the college level, whether it was as a player or a coach, and it takes everybody. It's not just it's your guys out of the lineup battling every day to try to get in the lineup. It's those guys having a great attitude because as you guys know, if your people are out of the lineup are moping and pouting all the time, that's not great for the culture and stuff like that. And competition brings out the best in us. And so even though you weren't in the lineup, I can't imagine you were not a huge freaking part of winning that championship. And we've had Shane Connolly on the podcast too. We were talking about this. This was years ago. He was the backup goalie for the team, and probably same thing for him. Highly touted goaltender, but he's behind Brian Elliott, who's pretty damn good in his own right, and another just great dude. Awesome guy. And I can't, like, even though he wasn't in the net, still probably a huge part of the reason why he won. And I just love the fact hockey's so cool because it takes everybody. It takes everybody bought in and pulling on the same rope. And I think that's one of the really special things about our sport.
How did you approach those days where you're healthy scratched and you're an NHL draft pick at that point, and you had 30 something goals in the USHL your first year, or 2 years before that, or 3 years before, whatever it was, like national champion, all Shattuck, like all these things. And then you're in college and you're a healthy scratch. Like, for the players that are going through hard times where they're not where they think they should be, they're not where they want to be, like, was there something that you said to yourself? Was there something that you did not to get through those days, but to like find a way to get better on those days? Because guys, like, again, look at this guy's elite prospects and look at what he did after college. Like, it's very impressive. It's very, very impressive to have the career he had, having the numbers he had in college. And so, like, to go through those hard times, like, you probably had the career you had after college because of those hard times. But, advice to younger players that are going through times like that where they're scratched or they're not where they want to be, what can they be doing? What did you do? How did you approach every day? How did you wake up? Because I know for Toph, and for me at least, when hockey wasn't going well, it feels like the sky is freaking falling. It's what you do. You love it. You're obsessed with it. It's all we do. And it's really hard sometimes to go to the rink when you're not where you want to be. So any advice for players or parents?
I'd love to say there was some magic recipe, but it was tough. It sucked. And it was really hard. It is a huge part of, whether you're playing college hockey, whether you're in midgets, whether you're juniors, prep school, pro hockey, it's our identity. And you don't want to lose that. And not to keep going back to controllables, but all I could control is what I could do. I love scoring goals. Still love scoring goals. Last night I had my 5-year-old out there for mic practice. I probably put a few past our 6-year-old goal. Still wanted that. So in practice, and I probably did it every year pro hockey. I'm going to celebrate every single goal I score.
Oh, Vex, music to your ears. I'm
that guy. I've practically gotten fights in pro hockey with our starting goaltenders because I would keep going. The next guys would be coming by ready to shoot, and I'd have to go get the puck in the corner, go make sure it just ends up in the net. I don't care. That was my mentality. And you talk about controllables. Maybe I didn't look at it as something, but I'm just going to keep doing what I thought I did well.
Very
That's
cool.
Great. Vex, you're so pumped right now.
Dude, I was the exact same. And
goalie coaches hated me. I go out for and doing, you do your extras, but like, if I love scoring goals, I'd be out at every goalie practice. Somehow I'd cheat, may probably come in a little closer to shoot. I'd try to beat the start, probably try to beat it Brian Elliott in pregame skate that morning of the national championship game. I wouldn't care. I was going to score goals because we're all competitive, right?
Hell yes, but not
change. I'm not going to back off or be somebody else just because I'm not in the lineup.
And not backing off and continuing to push. You're making yourself better by trying to score on every single shot you take. And so even though you're not playing, like, those are your game reps, and that's your college hockey championship game and things like that. And that's how you get better. And it was the same for me. I got hurt my first year in USHL and I missed the second half of the year. So when I came back that next year, every single goal I scored in practice, I celebrated, and I did that from 18 years old until I retired at 32. And I'd be chirping the goalie, I'd be chirping the defenseman, and I treated every practice like it was a game because I personally had the game taken away from me, and I didn't know if it was coming back in juniors because I couldn't figure out what the injury was. And so that just became like my calling card. And I think that, again, like, that hard time was a reason that I was able to play 10 years pro, because I had the game taken away. So then my practices became my games. Very similar, man. It's really, really cool to hear. And anybody who says like they don't like selling in practice, You selling in practice, the guys you scored on are going to get pissed off. Well, guess what they're going to do next time? They're going to try harder. So now you have to level up to play against them because they're pissed off and trying harder. So by you doing that, you're making them better, which is making you better, which is making the team better.
Yeah. We're wasting our time if we're not going to go all out every rep, right? Where it's like, you're exactly right. Holtby was in
Usually
Hershey.
am.
Braden Holtby would be in Hershey, and he was one of the most competitive goalies I ever met. And like, same exact thing. They see hundreds of shots every single practice. I'm sure a lot of guys didn't shoot to score every single shot, but I'd piss him off so much that he'd do the exact same. He wouldn't even worry about the next guy coming down. He'd be playing my third rebound that's going on in the corner. Or and if I did get in the net, he'd probably be the one firing the puck at me as I got back in line. Yeah. When you were celebrating your goals in practice, would you be singing the Heat is On from Omaha?
Oh no!
When I was playing in Omaha, probably actually, but it was the same for me. I'd be battling against Lurgy, and like if it was me like grabbing an extra puck, he wasn't worried about the next shot because we were also roommates. So if I scored on him, I'm going to let him know exactly how many goals I scored on him in practice every day. And Lurgy, same mindset as us, but from the goalie perspective, you could ask him any day of the week how many goals were scored on him in practice, and he knew exactly how many goals. His whole career he was that way because, again, he was ultra competitive, and that's how he made it to national champion Division I and pro hockey at a 5'4.5" goaltender. You know, it's that mindset, guys, that we need to be instilling in these kids, and always just trying to do your best, and that's going to take care of itself at the end of the day.
Unreal, man. Unreal.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1. Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/secure. Protect yourself now at aura.com/secure.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
Well, I want to fast forward a little bit to your pro career. You had an awesome pro career, 12 years playing pro hockey. And, you were one of those guys, probably similar to a guy that I played with at Cornell, Matt Molson. And Molson was a guy who, towards the tail end of his career, he was just a phenomenal leader, and was in the American League level, and still a great player, but also just a great leader to help, shepherd some of the young guys through. You were a captain for your last 5 or 6 years playing in the American Hockey League, won a Calder Cup championship trophy. And I'd love to know from you, just kind of from your experience of having such a long career at that level, what were some of the biggest things you learned just about the pro game, but also like, man, I think longevity is one of the greatest hockey stats ever. Hockey is a very hard sport mentally and physically, and you were able to do it for a long time at that level. And for anybody that's played even 1 year of pro hockey knows and understands how big of a grind it is. And so what'd you learn about the game from all your time there? And then just how were you able to do it for so freaking long too?
Something clicked right when I got out of Wisconsin, because, I think we lost in overtime my senior year to go back to the Frozen Four. North Dakota, I think it was North Dakota. And my agent at the time was like, hey, Chicago is still going to sign you. You're not going to get rich. You'll find your way. I think they just moved to Rockford at that point. A few days go by, and he hadn't reached out to me after we were done. And usually it was oftentimes when you're a senior, things are done in college, you go sign an ATO, you go play a few games for their minor league team to see, even if you're set up for next year. A few days go by, talk to him, and he goes, Chicago's actually not going to sign you anymore. And so that, more adversity wasn't going to let me down. But I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll go sign a deal in the American Hockey League. And he goes, you can go probably play in the East Coast wherever you want. That I'm not going to pretend that was tough to hear. Come midsummer, we started having conversations. I gave him a list of 3 teams. 2 of them didn't want me. Third one gave me a chance. I started in Charlotte for the Checkers and their East Coast Hockey League team. But something clicked for me, because at that point, even in college at Shattuck, everybody holds your hand. You got workouts at Wisconsin. Time has passed. We weren't even allowed to go home during the summer. We trained there all summer. You had to be there. You had to be at a certain place at a certain time. All these things were optional, but you had to be there. Come to pro hockey, no one's going to hold your hand. You got to find a way to train, get yourself ready. Even during the season, there's workouts, but you get what you want out of them. For me, reality hit really quickly. If I didn't figure a way to contribute, have success, that I'd be doing something else in a short time, or I wouldn't be playing hockey very long. Fortunately, I got some opportunities in the American League my first year, and it wasn't probably the best setup, but I played with, this is back when the American League used to have a handful of heavyweight fighters and guys that didn't really want the puck. And so I'd be on the 4th line, and I'd have line mates that'd be like, don't give me the puck today. And so I can't say the first year in the American League went well, but I got a new agent, and Peter Cooney, and he was unbelievable. Also probably a big reason why I got to play as long as I did. We never chased anything but opportunity. And it wasn't about money or anything else. It was just an opportunity to play. And I thought the American League was, and it is, an unbelievable league. I was fortunate to get that opportunity in Cleveland the next year and play there for a handful of years. And by the time I established myself as an everyday American leaguer, I got to get more comfortable. And not being comfortable, like I still had to put the work in every day, but I got comfortable to the point where I could be in situations where I can make plays, that I became the go-to guy in certain places. I'd been through that adversity when I found my way to the American League. And we talked about this earlier. I could be on the fourth or first line. And when you look at, part of our question was kind of the leadership role I took. It was getting to everybody kind of bought in. The American League's this unique league.
It's a hard league to do that. Yeah.
I think the American League's one of the only leagues in the world, and I don't know other sports, I know hockey, where winning might not always be the priority, both from management at times and for the players. Because a lot of players you get to pro hockey are worried about themselves. And if you can find a way to contribute, have team success, take care of yourself, but do it in a team way, you can stick around for a bit. You got to, I've been on some really good teams in the American League that didn't win, but the year we won in Grand Rapids near the end of my career, every guy wanted to be there. It wasn't, of course guys wanted to get called up, but it was also the room that we had. I had Todd Nelson as a coach for the second half of my career, and he treated every guy the same. And when we talked about being in and out of the lineup and the struggles, he treated the fifth liner the same as his starting goaltender. If I was the one who coughed up a breakaway the night before, he didn't treat me as a different person. And that was, I take those things with me now being in coaching. He didn't judge you or treat you differently based on your play. Every guy loved coming to the rink every day. Didn't matter if you were a black ace, meaning you weren't going to, probably very little chance you were going to be in the lineup, or you were our captain, first line center. Didn't matter.
Unreal. That's awesome. In fact, you played at that level for a long time. How does that kind of resonate with you and the experiences that you had as well?
Yeah, pro is so interesting. I was on some teams where, it was like that. Guys were pretty selfish, that doesn't mean they weren't good guys, but you just knew that they were selfish. And it was like, if we're on a 2-on-1 and I'm wide open, like, you're never passing me the puck because you only care about yourself. But it's like, well, if you get an assist or a goal, like, it's the same thing, but the teams that win are usually the teams where guys are going to sign a better deal the next year with either the same team or another team and have a chance to go up to the NHL, because every team wants winners at the next level, whatever the next level is. Yeah. So by guys buying into the team and each other and bringing their best every day, you're going to win more games. You're going to go further, which means more of the NHL guys are all watching you from all the different teams, and more guys are going to move on to that NHL level the next year or later that year. So it's just like short-sighted to be that selfish guy. But it's way more fun when you're winning, and the only way you're winning is if everybody's like rowing the boat together,
And it's not worth winning if you can't win big.
Right. I mean, what's his name?
Coach Riley? No. I don't know.
Coach Orion.
Yeah, that was
D3.
D3. That's your movie. You're the Mighty Ducks man himself, Emilio Estevez. It's so funny you say that, and I think I've probably told this story before. But the year, actually, all three of us were playing the USHL that year. Our last year. Our coach was Will Nickel, and the first thing he did in our first preseason meeting is he went around and he gave us all packets. And the packets were the amount of scholarships that players had on each USHL team from the year before. And so as we're looking at it, it was basically, and this was like pre-people getting scholarships before the US, like everybody got your, ride to college when you went. And so we're looking through the packets, and he asked us, he's like, what do you guys notice? What do you see? And we didn't know what the point was of the exercise. And so he's like, and then he asked us the question. He was like, which teams, because he had the standings from last year too. He had the standings from last year and then the amount of scholarships that each team had. And it was basically which teams had the most scholarships, guys. And it was like the top teams in the league had the most scholarships. And the point was that individual success comes from team success. It's not the other way around. Like if you guys want to go on to the next level, you're going to be a lot more marketable, let's say, or people are going to watch you more if you're on a team that's bought in and plays the right way and plays for each other and things like that. And he was right. He was 100% right. And our team won the East that year. And Joe Pavelski was the only freaking reason why we didn't win the Clark Cup, I think. But like, it was just a really cool exercise that he did. And here I am 25 years later, still talking about it and the effect that it had on me and our team that overachieved, I would say, based on the talent that we have. But it's so true. Like individual success comes from team success. It's not the other way around. Like nobody ever did it alone. Everybody needs a community. Everybody needs a village. Everybody needs teammates to compete with. Everybody needs teammates to put a hand on your shoulder when you need some help. And that's one of the greatest things about our sport is the fact that, that's more common than not. I'm not sure if other sports are like that, but like the team aspect of hockey is what makes our sport so great. And my fear a little bit is that we're losing that a little bit with the way that college hockey has become, junior hockey has become, and then that's filtered all the way down into the youth game. And I think we all need to take a step back and realize that community means something. And playing for something bigger than yourself means something. And I have to imagine, Foro, with all the teams you've been on, you've had so much success in this game individually and from a team standpoint with the championships that you've won, that buy-in and that togetherness, the byproduct of that is individual success too. Would you agree with that?
I look at it from a different perspective now, right?
Okay.
Like we're all done. As a parent, as a coach, we can tell our kids that, but how do we show them? Because everybody believes that, but we still reward just the goal scorer. We reward the guy who gets all the assists, guy who gets all the points. Everybody has to have value. And doesn't matter if you're talking about a sport team, Shattuck, pro hockey, like everybody needs to know that they have a role on the team and that they're valued. And that's how I believe we get those kids to buy into that.
So let me ask you this, because I think like sometimes Toph and our message, I think is misconstrued. Like when we talk about like things like this, or like, for instance, bag skating your team isn't the best way. Like you could punish them or whatever by doing a battle drill and you're going to get more out of that. And then some people are, oh, that's soft, like things like that. Kind of like same idea here. Oh, you're coddling the kids who aren't as good. But it's like, no, that's not what's happening. We're helping them buy into themselves and buy into the team, which helps the team, which helps them grow because they're pushing and they're doing the things that you did, which allowed you to have the career you did, and Toph and myself. So if you were going to give messages to like coaches right now, like, yeah, you say that, but like, how do we get them to buy into like that type of mentality? And it's not just caring about and praising the best kid on the team and like showing like, oh, that fourth line kid, what he's doing is valuable and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do we need to sit there and make sure everybody hears you acknowledge the goal scorer? That kid already feels great. And we talked about my oldest a little bit. He scored a lot of goals last year. And it's a tough situation being the coach on that team as well. And I know he's got confidence through the roof. And confidence is a huge part of the game. But to me, it's how'd that goal happen? It was the back check. The kid who back checked hard. It was the kid who made the simple play to bank the puck out of the zone. It was the other kid who drove the front of the net. And we're talking about mite hockey, but they all need to feel that value. And when you talk to the team, it's not about talking about a goal scorer. To me, and I'm doing it again now, coaching my youngest, who's going to be is 5 on a mite team, and my oldest, who's 9. Talking about how we're going to be part of something special, and we're not going to talk about our skill. It's going to be about how we're going to have that effort. And I won't lie that I kind of pretend to take it from Remember the Titans. Like, I want us to be such a hardworking team that teams are going to remember playing against us. I don't care what the score is, but I want teams in too often we're talking about wins and losses and we talk about effort. So yeah, sport teams, we're going to skate. And it's not a punishment. It's that we're going to work so hard in practice that games are going to be easy. That we're going to have our adversity. We're going to have our tough times. We're going to get through a lot of things in practice. We're not going to make practice easy. And that's because as a group, and we're going to talk about it with the kids and ask them, there's something special about this group. You see that too. And you get them to buy in. And if you can get them all to buy in, and it's not, I'm sure that whoever's scoring the goals is going to buy in, and maybe the goalie who has a little bit more swagger, he's bought in, he's going to do his job. But it's getting everybody to. And if you can get every kid to know that they have value, that their effort matters, it is something special.
100%. I think back to all the special teams that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of, whether it was a player or as a coach. I think the consistency with all of them is that buy-in. Like everybody's pulling together on the same rope. And when you have everybody going in the same direction, man, like it's so fun to come to the rink every day, isn't it? Just like, and we've all probably been on teams that wasn't like that too. And it's not fun coming to the rink when everybody's on their own page and there's maybe some selfish interest in there. But I love how you said that, like your kid's 5 turning 6 and you're instilling those like life skill type things in them. Like, and that's our main job. Let's make sure we're creating not just better players, but better people. And, I even think at the youngest of ages is probably when you can have the most effect on that, and so focusing on those things and making sure that they're excited to come to the rink. And when you do have a special team that's pulling on the same rope, like I said, doesn't matter if you're pro hockey or if you're 5-6 years old, it's more fun to come to the rink when everybody's doing that. And you have a coach that's invested in that, isn't it? So, well, good stuff. Well, we've had you on here for almost an hour here now. This is a great conversation. We so appreciate your time. If you have a couple more minutes, we'd like to keep you on for 10 questions. That's in our Hockey Think Tank You. But just great stories, great journey, just phenomenal advice and things that so many people at all ages can take out of this podcast episode. So Matt Ford, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it, man.
Toph, Specs, thank you guys.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from your YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, this crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.